Hi guys, Will Terry here, and on this video I'm going to show you what my children's book packages are going to look like. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I've ordered. I'm going to show you some of the shipping stuff that I've ordered. This is video number 16 in a series that I'm now calling How I'm going to Make $50,000 on my next children's book. And so there's a link below. There's links for everything below. But you can check out that playlist below. Some people have said, why $50,000? Like, I don't know. I just came up with that. I just came up with that number. Interestingly enough, if I sell all 5,000 hardcover books that I ordered out of China at $25 gross, that would be $125,000. So for me to make $50,000 profit, that's kind of what my goal is. I'll have a lot of expenses, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of that money with my sales guy and with affiliates and things like that. So maybe on this first run, I might not make that much. We'll see. But you're along for the journey, and I share all my sales stats and all my figures, all my expenses. So you'll see the net and the gross, and you'll see the profit. And so yeah, I'm gonna I will make another update video on where my expenses are from the last time, because I've got all this new stuff. So let's dive into it. I did get a hardcover book. This is a sample out of from the printer, and I also think it looks a lot better than the softcover version. So the colors seem to be more vibrant. I don't know if you can tell on the camera here, probably not. This hardcover seems like it's more vibrant, definitely more substantial. The paper's better on this one, nicer quality. And I also got samples of the posters as well. So here they are. They're kind of big to show on camera, but here is the color one right here. And this is the folded poster. Again, I'm going to have half the posters that I ordered, 1,500 of them, are going to be unfolded, so we can roll up and sell them at tournaments. The other half, it says down at the bottom, it says, "Can you find all the pickles?" And then the other one, the other half are unfolded. This is the coloring page, and it's on paper that you can actually, they can use highlighters or crayons or something and find the pickles, coloring them in. Those are going to go as a companion set, as I've talked about in previous videos. Okay, so many of you already have seen this kind of stuff before, but if you go on like uline.com, it's ULINE, you can get book boxes, and all they are is a piece of cardboard that's already cut with fold lines, and the fold lines allow you to easily fold them, and then you put your book inside the box. And juggling everything on my desk is a challenge right now. So that would go in the box. But before I put it in the box, I wanted to put them in a bag to protect them. So this is a bubble bag. And, I ordered the right size so it easily fits inside this bubble bag. And then it goes in the box. And then I fold up the box. And then inside that box, I want to thank people for supporting the project. So I printed up on Vistaprint. I tried Uprinting, and it was a little bit more expensive. A thank you card with a coupon code that will be packed in every order. It's got my wife and I on there, and we got Pickleball Paul on there, and 10% off with a coupon code. So we got that. That'll go in the package. So that's that. And then in order to ship it, you got to put a label on there. Well, I bought labels, and I bought, I got these in bulk, so I got a case of these. So this is like a box, but then there's a case of boxes of 12. I plan on selling a lot of books. I am not going small. And the savings were so good on buying 12 rolls of labels. I think that gives me, I figured that gives me close to 3,000 labels. So I've got 5,000 books, 3,000 labels. We'll probably sell more books at tournaments than that. So this will probably last me to the next book, or the next print run of book 2, and as well as if I reorder this first book. Got to have something to print it on. So without putting the cart before the horse, I got this ordered on Amazon, on eBay, a Dymo label printer. Here's the interesting thing that I found. I started checking with friends that have these, and they stopped making this 4XL. Okay, they stopped making it, and the new one, the 5XL, the reviews are horrible. They have these special labels that have a chip in them or something. The labels are so much more expensive, and people don't like the performance of it. They like this one. Everybody loves this one. And again, it's discontinued. So if you go on Google and you type in, buy a new label writer 4XL, everybody is selling the unboxed ones. They bought them all out, and they're selling the unboxed ones on eBay for like $400 and $500. I think that they were like $200 new, and now they're like $400 or $500 because everybody wants these. So I found used ones, and because I got a used one, I'm like, well, what if it craps out? So I got a used one for 160, and then I got another one. This one's cleaner for 170. So the two together were like 130 or 330, and a new one is like 450 to 500. So 330 for two of them. I think I'm pretty well covered there. So a little redundancy, and save me the headache of like having, if I'm going to buy all those labels, I want to make sure that I have a label writer that can make it. Along with that, I needed a scale. So I did a little research and found this. Everybody on Amazon loved this one. I did get this one new for $75 roughly. Again, I'll put this in the video with all my expenses. This one goes to 25 pounds. I checked on the ones that go to 100 pounds, and I was going to pull the trigger and get one of those because I am going to sell cases of books wholesale. And I figured that my case of books, even though I don't have them yet, what if it's over 25 pounds? Yikes. But then I looked at the reviews on the scales that are 100 pounds, and the accuracy is gone. Like, the people are like sending them back in. They're saying, this is no good for making a shipping label because it's not accurate. It's off by a couple of pounds. When people go to the post office and you print your postage at home, and you're all set, and you want to just drop off your package, and then they go, hold on a second. This doesn't, this weighs too much, and you need more postage on it. So it totally defeats the purpose of doing printing labels and shipping at home, to be able to save time when you get to the post office. You don't have to wait in line. You can just drop off your packages. And so I went with the 25-pound one, which they say is dead on accurate. And if I have to weigh those boxes, if they do weigh more than 25 pounds, I figured if somebody orders a whole case of books, which there's going to be 40 in a case, then I'll take it to the post office. I'll get a weight, and then that weight will be the same for every box of 40. So I don't really even need a scale for it. And I realized that, don't buy the 100-pound scale. So anyway, there's that. There is another thing that I did print up on Vistaprint, and that is this card here, and it says, "Find the hidden pickle on every page." This is for the people that are going to be selling at tournaments, and we've got quite a few people lined up already that want to sell these at their table booth. And so this is like a little bookmark that they can tape in there. And I forgot to bring this down, but I bought little book stands, little cheap book stands on Amazon. I got 24 of them for, I think, $32. And I will, when someone orders wholesale, I will give them one of those little book easels, because they're like $1.50 each. And I'll put that in the package of books that they order, along with a few of these. And that way they can display it. This, to me, after having done Little Heroes, what I realized is you need a product that people want to pick up and play with, that they want to pick up and flip through, right? And this is a challenge. Find the hidden pickle on every page. Oh, I didn't know there was a hidden pickle on every page. Well, yeah, you will, because this is going to be sticking out right here. So just trying to think of little things like that. Every little single thing that you do, when you're thinking of marketing ideas, one little marketing idea could be worth hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars over time, right? So you want as many advantages as you can gain. So you got to be thinking along those lines. So there's that. Now, let's see. I think I've gone through just about everything. And yeah, so I wanted to just kind of, another thing I do is I answer questions from week to week. So if you have any questions about any part of this project that I'm doing, put it down in the comments, and then I will answer it in the next video. That's what I've been doing. I've got a couple of questions today. before I get to that, I want to say this. You know, a lot of people in today's world right now are depressed because there's a lot of bad news, right? There's like, you know, this is going to hell, that's going to hell. The economy's suffering. You know, we're worried about wars. We're worried about this, that, and the other. And did you hear about this? And did you, oh no, there's AI art now. And there's just, I mean, there's so much negativity, right? And what that does to so many people is it paralyzes them. Okay. And I know a lot of artists that have been paralyzed in the past for things and have given up and quit. And then they've regretted that later when they realized that all that artists did was they shifted into different markets. If a market, you know, imploded, like when editorial, you know, magazines imploded due to the internet and due to stock illustration and all sorts of, you know, being able to use Photoshop and you know, and the internet comes along and we don't need magazines anymore. And I had a lot of friends that were in editorial, and a lot of them aren't working as artists anymore, and they're, you know, they're working some menial jobs. I know artists that have stopped working because of COVID when it took out a lot of the comic conventions and stuff, and a lot of artists just quit and went into doing something else. And I guess what I'm here to say is that markets are always opening and always closing, okay? And the world has been going to hell since the beginning of time, right? I mean, like, there's always something bad. There's always another war. There's always another economic downturn. There's always another fiat money collapse, right? There's always something. And it's no different right now. And the my challenge to you guys is don't let those life things tear you down, and don't let them stop you from moving forward and progressing. Because the one thing's for sure is if you stop and you don't do anything because you're planning on, well, we won't be able to make any money because of this AI art or whatever it is, then if that doesn't come to fruition, obviously, right, in a few years, you're going to have regrets. You're going to say, man, I should have really done this, that, or the other. We got to just keep moving forward. I met a guy at Walmart the other day. My wife and I were going through the check stand, and he just seemed to be overly happy and friendly. So we started talking to him, and it was his register got closed down. So he was in no pressure. There was nobody behind us in line, and we just start chatting. And he says, and this is I think he tries to tell his story to as many people as possible. I got that impression because he was so open with and like had it down to a real concise way of saying it. But basically, what he wanted us to know was he got hit by a car when he was a young man in his early 20s. Somebody came around the corner and just totally wiped him out, and they were going at a high rate of speed, and he knocked him into where he died on the operating table a couple of times when he went completely flatline. And then when he recovered, he was in a coma. And he was in a coma and he was actually engaged to be married. And when he woke up from the coma, he couldn't remember the accident. He couldn't remember his fiance. So she bailed because why wouldn't she? I mean, I wouldn't fault somebody for that. He didn't even know who she was. He regained that memory later on after it was all, like a year or so later, it started coming back. He was sad. He was a little bit depressed. And then he just decided to pick himself up and move on with his life. And as soon as he did, he got married again, or he got married for the first time many years later. He got terminal cancer. So they gave him a death sentence. They said, you're going to die from cancer. He's now like 6 or 7 years past that and cancer free. And I think there's something about doctors that like to tell you that you're never going to walk again, or you're never going to live, or whatever, and maybe that's the motivation that you need to fight or something. But was like, when you walk around in Walmart, you see every kind of person as an employee, right? You see the super depressed person. You see the person who's just kind of just working and just kind of got their head down and doing their thing. And you see unhappy people and happy people. You see super helpful people that are working way harder than they need to. They work at Walmart. It's not like they're going to get fired, right? And they're working super hard and they're hustling. And then you see people like this guy who's just super happy to be alive. And I think, your level of happiness as an artist is directly tied to your attitude and how hard you work. And you And if you're like me, I derive my happiness from my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, my family, my colleagues, and my clients, and the amount of work that I can get done. And this project, this stupid little pickleball project, is so exciting for me to work on. I am probably happier than it's really weird. I have loved working on publisher books and still do. And when I get a good book to work on, it's just super fun to dive into a new project. But there's something about working on your own project where you're in complete control and where the sky's the limit. I mean, like, I have zero limit on this book project. I could make $1 million with this over time. It is possible. I've got 5 books planned in the series. I've got puzzles planned. I've got some games that I've been thinking about. I've got the posters and, some other ideas. And there's nobody that can tell me no. There's no one that can say stop. The only way that'll happen is if the market says we don't like it. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm just moving forward. So just know that you're not. There's a constituency of people out there that are telling artists or telling people, you can't get ahead, you can't make any money. And if you do, and if you embrace the free market, or if you embrace capitalism, then there's something wrong with you. I mean, we get accused that somehow that this thing is bad, that if you chase this, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't really participate, and you can't get ahead and all. But this is freedom. So really what I say is when I'm pursuing this, and the more of this that I can get, the more freedom I have to make the decisions that I want in my life, right? The more that I can help other people, the more that I can give, the more that I can take care of my family, take care of expenses, the less stress that I have. I mean, it's stressful. I've lived on the side, and I've talked about this here on my YouTube channel before, where I lost my house back in 2008. I lost my truck. I had my truck repossessed in 2008. And one of the reasons why I'm doing really well right now is because rather than just shrivel up and die and go, well, I can't get ahead, and and maybe I'll just get a job at Walmart, or not that there's anything wrong with that, not that there's anything wrong with working for someone else, but I knew that if I worked harder, I could build a business. I could build 2 businesses. I could build 3 businesses more. Some of the ideas that I had failed. Some of I did these story apps for the iPad, put my heart and soul into them, got great reviews from the review sites, and commercially they were failures. They were huge successes in my mind in the value, and everyone that read them loved them. But the market told me people don't spend money on apps for iPhone and iPad. They just don't. They want everything for free. There are companies that are successful, like the company that owns Procreate, the drawing program for the iPad. They're really successful in getting about $10 out of people for that. I think that apps that have more function, are better. I don't want to digress into that, but basically, the idea that I want to get out there today is you can do so much more than you think. You're so much capable of doing more than you think with your life. Try to, if you can, make friends with the positive people. Try to spend less time with negative people. Negative people will drag you down. You do what your friends are doing. That's a known fact. You are the amalgamation of your friends. So if you have friends that are hating on free markets and don't want to try to get ahead and aren't working in their spare time trying to build a business and stuff, then you probably won't either. If you have friends that are doing that sort of thing, then you will too. And I found that to be true. I mean, that's my video for today. Oh, I need to answer these questions. So the first one is from Maureen, and she says she bought my book. She loves it, and talking about this new pickleball book. Let's see. And then she says, as a freelance illustrator, do we need liability insurance or any other type of insurance for business as an author illustrator? And so I do not carry liability insurance, really what your liability insurance is in creating LLCs. Okay, so here in the United States, you can buy insurance, but really what you want to do is get your projects, get your businesses out of your name, right? So if you do business under your name and you own a house, if somebody wants to sue you for any reason, and people can sue in this country for any reason at all, and you at that point you have to defend yourself. You have to spend money that you may or may not have. And so I think your best liability insurance is to save the money on liability insurance and put your business each business under a different LLC. Now it's some paperwork, it's some hassle, but if you put it under an LLC, limited liability company, then that company owns your business. That is your business. It's separate from you. And if someone sues the product, anything having to do with what you've done, if you do a book in that name, they can only sue for assets that are in the business. They can't come after your personal bank account, your personal assets, your cars, whatever, and stuff like that. So that's my answer for that question. And the other one's from Elizabeth, and it says, "Hello, I've been following these great videos. I'm a subscriber to SVS, took Children's Book Pro. Let's see. My husband and I have 4 ebook Bible stories up on Amazon. My husband, Mark, the author, is one who put the ebooks on Amazon. I believe he thought paperback would be out of the question for a children's book, that it would cost too much. My husband may have even calculated the cost. My question, did you publish at a certain DPI or setting so the colored ink won't be as expensive for the paperback? We did our ebooks before I took Children's Book Pro. I'm wondering if our color is too saturated for a price like you were quoted for paperback versions. In other words, was there an insider trick to getting the cost down?" Okay, so there's really two things going on here, and let me grab this hardback book, because we're talking about the Amazon soft cover and the hardback book, right? And neither one. The short answer is no. You're not going to be charged anymore, even if you have like the most saturated color you can possibly have. When you get a cost for a children's book, either in China or in the case of Amazon print on demand, there is no cost. I mean, they plan on you. I mean, their cost has to include you filling every page with saturated ink, like complete. Like if you think of a book like, and I'm just off the top of my head thinking of Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. I can't remember who wrote that. The graphic design husband and wife team, I think. But the pages are, it's like it's done in Illustrator, and they're full printed colored pages, right? Fully saturated color, just as saturated as you can possibly get. So you're using as much ink as possible, and there won't be any more cost. They don't quote you on. They don't even look at your files before you send them in. They give you the quote, and then that's planning on you sending anything in. So if anything, probably how they base their price, I would imagine, is on the average of what children's books look like. And you have some that are almost all white space with little ink drawings, where they're just mostly white pages with ink, and those are going to cost them less in ink for sure. And then there's going to be people with fully saturated, and they probably base their price somewhere in the middle, I would imagine. And sure, when they get one that's fully saturated, they might be like, I bet they don't even think of it. I mean, they're buying their inks in bulk, in gallons. So I just don't think that they're going to really think about it a whole lot. Never heard of anybody, charging more for using more ink. So there we go. So if you have questions, again, I'm going to be sharing all my stats. I'll do another update video pretty soon. I'll do one on the website. That might be the next video, showing you my new website that I've been building for Pickleball Paul. And I'll also show you another update on expenses and costs, and like how upside down I am as of right now before we get books. Books are on a ship right now as we speak. They're on the ocean, on the Pacific Ocean, and they should be landing in LA on the 9th of next month in March. So this is February 27th. So anyway, I'll give you another update next week. Thanks for watching.